Let me also acknowledge our 201 participants. So 201 po tayo ngayon. Good morning to all of you. Our resource person for today has been affiliated with HRDO for almost 9 years and is in charge of faculty appointments. She is an Administrative Officer 5 and the Section Chief of the Recruitment Selection and Appointment Section of HRDO. Let's all welcome Ms. Venus L. Benson.
Good morning, everyone. Isang magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. First of all, I want to acknowledge the presence of our Vice Chancellor for Administration, Ma'am Nanette Aquino, our Assistant to the Vice Chancellor, rather for Administration, Ma'am Nanette Aquino, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Ma'am Dr. Janet Silva, and our Honorable Assistant to the Chancellor, Ma'am Eileen Manino. So in behalf of HRDO, we want to thank every one of you, our 204 participants in this presentation. So magandang umaga po. So last August 2021, we have our webinar for the reappointment, which is entitled ECQ and HRDO Guide on Reappointment. So for today, as per the objective of our dear Director, Attorney Peralta, on making us more mas malapit, mas maaasahan, mas madaling puntahan na isang opisina katulad ng HRDO, meron na naman po kami ngayong webinar on original appointment. So this is another nature of appointment po na tinatawag natin, which is original appointment. So our title for our webinar for today is all about original, an overview of the hiring process. This is of course the product of our team effort sa HRDO. So to start with, po, as per CSC po on original appointment, the meaning of the original appointment as per CSC Ora is the initial entry into the career or non-career service po. So we have two categories on the original appointment. We have the career service, which is characterized by the entrance based on merit and fitness to be determined as far as practicable by competitive examination or based on highly technical qualifications, opportunity for advancement to higher career positions, and security of tenure. So for the other category, we have the non-career service. Though this shall be characterized by entrance on bases other than those of the usual test of merit and fitness utilized for the career service and tenure, which is limited to a period specified by law. So for the duration of the particular project of which purpose employment is made. So technically po, the difference between the two categories is that career services are commonly full-time in paid position in the field of interest after completing our degree. So ito po ay yung mga plantilla items that we occupy in the university, and that is based on merit and fitness, which is because of our education, eligibility, training, experiences, licenses po, kung saan magiging fit po tayo dun sa vacant position in the university. And for the non-career naman po, these are those who do not receive the same employee benefits and hold position only for a temporary period or a limited period of time. So yun po yung simpleng difference ng dalawang category on the initial end of original appointment. So we have the guiding principle in our university or in CSC that the state shall ensure and promote the constitutional mandates that appointments in the civil service shall be made only according to merit and fitness. This is according to the revised rule on Omnibus Rules on Appointments and Other Human Resource Actions, Section 1, Rule 1 of the 2017 Oro. So ano po ba yung merit and fitness? So this merit and fitness, ito po yung kakayanan na mapunan yung bakanting posisyon with our education, just like I said before, training, experiences, licenses that will fit the position we are applying for. And also, nagkakaroon din po kasi ng mga religious affiliations. So ito po yung nililimitahan. Ito po yung ating main principle, guiding principle na upon getting or employing an appointment po for an applicant, we have to test if it fits and if the eligibility and the requirements, qualification standard are met by the applicant. So we have the minimum qualification standards of CSE po, and for faculty po, we have the RE 9500 po na guided po tayo for faculty positions. So who can hire? Who can we hire? We can hire faculty. We have the reps, the research and extension professional or staff, administrative, non-regular faculty. So for non-regular faculty, we have the lecturer, visiting faculty, adjunct faculty, and affiliate faculty po. And the contract of service or the individual contract of service or the ICS. So our objective for today is for every one of us, including me po, to have the overview of the hiring process, because for the longest time po, for 17 years in HRDO and 9 years of being permanent, I'm only focused on the faculty processes, requirements, and recommendations, and memorandums pertaining to faculty. So given the opportunity that I am the head of the RSA, I have to know everything din po, just like every one of us in the university, ng mga proseso under recruitment, selection, and appointment section. So for the authority to fill up, we have and posting of vacancies. So ito po yung review of what the process of hiring is all about. So we have that. The third one is the transmittal of applicants. Unit APC, HRM, PSB evaluation. We have the board deliberations for the three classification, which is the admin, faculty, and reps. OC approval of endorsement, BMO clearance, and appointment preparation. So for the first one, which is the authority to fill up, we have this file on how to secure approval. So for faculty po, we only prepare letter addressed to the chancellor, unlike for reps and admin that has to pass through or course through to UIS for approval of the president. And while for ICS naman po, we have to prepare a letter for the president din po kasi there is a and for ICS, we don't have new ICS for non-projects because of the existing moratorium po that we are following. So the moratorium is based on the Office of the President Memo TGH 2019-02 on the moratorium on hiring non-UP contractuals. This is signed by Executive Vice President Teodoro Herboso. So for the remarks po on the faculty, additional headcount request depends on the Chancellor's approval and availability of vacant faculty positions, while for reps naman po and admin can only be requested once an item is vacated. So there are several types of separation po that we will discuss later. And for the UIS naman po, authority to fill approval, we only have 9 months po for the validity of the vacant position to be filled up. That starts from the request for publication and hiring process. So within the 9 months period po, kailangan may nakaupunad po doon sa posisyon na na-request natin for publication. Plus the period of ECQ and NECQ, syempre po, we are still on the process of adjusting to the situation that we are facing right now because of the pandemic. So a memorandum on Vice President Yupi po on 2021-71, we have the extension of validity of the authority to fill up. So dito po sa authority to fill up, we want to guide you on what to do using the UIS po. So the UIS in our website, so you can check on our website po, log into http uis.up.edu.ph. So for the punta po tayo sa navigator, we can search on the UP authority to fill up or hire ng item. So ito po ay true for reps and administrative positions only. So hindi po ito nangyayari sa faculty. As I said before, letter request to the chancellor lang po yung nire-require natin for faculty positions. So the steps for the authority to fill or hire is that you have to select authority to fill for permanent positions. Doon po sa navigator, we also have authority to fill for ICS and authority to fill for UP contractual. So for this webinar po, we have to check for the authority to fill for permanent position. Then we submit authority to fill. Then we have fields there that you have to you have to input po type, which is the original appointment. So the position to be filled. So position title. For administrative positions po, we have the parenthetical position. So we have to be careful po on applying the position title for administrative position kasi we have so many administrative parenthetical positions po na magkakaiba yung nire-require ng QS and the item number. So doon po sa ating UIS, we can also check the previous appointee. We also have to put a brief justification or remarks, pero yun po ay optional naman. So ito po ay as per email din po, ito po ay nire-remind po ni Ate Ana when you are applying for authority to fill up. So Ma'am Ana Leda po of PCSD is the one in charge in authority to fill up. She is the one assisting us whenever there's a request for authority to fill. So sa email po niya, makikita naman po natin yung step by step na kailangan na po natin gawin whenever we have to authority to fill po at vacant position. So other fields po, you have to apply it and then po add attachments. So ito pong attachment na to should be in PDF and make sure that to attach one file. So one file, it means lahat na po ng attachment dun sa particular request must be in one PDF file. And then you apply the attachments and then submit po. So for the authority to fill po, we have different kind of attachments. So we will start with the organizational chart. So dun po sa ating organizational chart ng ating office, we should highlight the specific unit or division that requires the position to be filled up. So in this case po, makikita po natin yung highlighted part. Ito po ay, for example lang po ito, we use the social forestry division of the sa forestry po ito. So we also have another attachment to be uploaded sa UIS. This is the personal chart. So personal chart po is the only item requested should be reflected. So as per highlighted part din po, makikita po natin yung part kung saan po nabibilang ng tao na yung position po na vacate. So ito po yung i-fill up natin at hindi po kung saan pa man doon sa ating personnel chart or organizational chart. So names and position titles will suffice for other staff complement and position titles for other vacant positions. So another one is the functional chart. Ito naman po yung makikita, dito po natin makikita kung ano po yung gagawin ng ating or kailangan gawin ng ating the person to be hired sa position. Ito po kung saan siya nabibilang na division, maliwanag po kung ano po yung gagawin niya. So dito po nakikita natin yung function ng unit or division na nangangailangan ng tao at nagre-request ng authority to fill. So we also must include the duties and responsibilities This is to make sure that it is in line with the attached duties and responsibilities of the position to be filled. So ito po yung lagi nating nakikita. Ito po ay yung nasa PDF po natin. Position description form. Ito po yung distribution, percentage, and the list of duties kung saan po mapupunta yung tao makukuha natin and the position to be filled up po. So other important reminders po for the authority to fill. So we must always be guided by the memorandum number MVG 00-45 dated May 22, 2000. Ito po ay items are pulled and previous allocations and of items should not be concerned. So dito po maliwanag po na nakalagay na all vacated personal items, teaching or not teaching, either by retirement, this is different kinds of separation po, resignation, or whatever reason shall not necessarily belong to the units concerned. So chancellors are therefore enjoined to continue exercising their authority and redeploying existing personnel as long as this does not result in any change in salary or lease. So the management of vacant items po is in the hands of our chancellor, dear chancellor. Another reminder po, under Rule 7 of Publication and Posting of Vacant Positions on Ora-Ora po, we have Section 30. Anticipated vacancies may be published in case of retirement, resignation, or transfer. The publication should not be earlier than 30 days prior to retirement, resignation, or transfer. So pwede na po natin tayong mag-request ng authority to fill 30 days before the separation of the employee. So ito po ay for the retirement po, compulsory or mandatory. And for the this is for the case of admin and reps din po, as well as faculty for the retirement po. So posting of vacancies naman po tayo. We are on the second part of the overview of the hiring process. So for the posting of vacancies, we have these requirements: an e-copy of the letter addressed to HRDO director and the notification of approval for authority to fill with doc tracks number assigned. So ito po ay mahigpit po namin hinihingi ang inyong tulong with regards to doc tracks ID number assignment, kasi most of the letter forwarded to us for posting were not given doc tracks ID number po. So ito po ay bilang pagtugon sa programa po ng OVICRE, ay ito po ay hinihingian po namin kayo ng dagdag na panahon para po maglagay po ng doc tracks ID number, dahil isa din pong dahilan dito dahil hindi rin po naman tatanggapin sa other offices unless meron po siyang number. And again, isa pa pong hinihiling din po namin na you don't have to send a hard copy in our office po. E-copy of letter address is enough po for us to process the request for posting. So ang nangyayari po kasi because of pandemic, nag-resort po tayo sa e-copy and others still forward hard copy in our office na tatambak lang po siya and hindi po siya nakakatulong sa ating pagbabago ng mga proseso. So for the e-copy po, sapat na po siya. For faculty, you have to email me po at vlbenzon@up.edu.ph. For reps po, it's for Ma'am Dana, dq.consignado@up.edu.ph. And for admin po, it's for Ate Lani po, Ms. Hilanda Parungao, gsparungao@up.edu.ph. So for the HRDO checklist for local posting po, so ito naman po lagi na po natin nakikita because we have to include this in your letter request po for posting. So for admin, faculty, and reps vacancy positions. So please also take note po that you have to check the column assigned for the AOAA na processing or requesting in behalf of our director or our head of office po, para po mas mabilis po nating makikita sa amin po sa HRD o kung kumpleto po yung dokumento. And again, please make sure po that you check, double check po ang ating po mga documents kasi sometimes po there are forwarded documents that were not signed yet. So yun po, kailangan po humihingi po kami sa inyo ng paumanhin at tulong din po sa dagdag na panahon para po ma-check po natin thoroughly yung mga dokumento na kailangan po natin ipadala in anywhere naman po in the university. So for sample po, for the purpose of making you familiarized with what is the request for admin vacant item po. So ito po yung isang example. So you can see at the upper right corner po, we have the doc tracks number. And yun po, we have the director of the office requesting for posting and the dean of college. So ito po yung sample ng approved letter to fill a vacant admin position from UIS po. So in here po makikita po natin yung item, position. We also have the parenthetical item, which you can see on the upper part of the letter po, administrative aid 3. The parenthetical position po is utility worker 2 with the item number UPSD ADA 3649-2004. Ito po ay na-vacate September 8, 2021. So yun po. So makikita po natin dito yung nangyaring proseso, yung pag-submit, pagbalik, pag-approve. So ito po, in any process po, we really have to be patient kasi there are other documents that they require na wala po sa list. For sometimes, yun po ay parte ng sistema na itinatama po natin. So, makikita po dito for twice bumalik si dokumento dahil may hinging papel. Ito po ay dahil sa lahat po ng sistema, alam naman po natin na walang perfect. So, ito po ay isa ding paraan para po maitama, maiwasto at ma-develop yung sistema. Kaya po nangyayari yung mga ganitong pagbalik at pagbalik po at pag-approve naman sa dulo rin naman po. So at the end of the day, yung po dito sa letter request na ito ay na-approve din naman po siya ni President Danilo Concepcion. So we also have a sample for you or letter request for posting po. This is from IMSP po with the directorship of Dr. Jose. So we also have the QR code and the doc tracks number po, the date request. So ang pinaka-critical po kasi for a faculty request po is that you are able to identify the education required, the eligibility or the licenses required for the position, and experience. And please po, wag po natin kaya lilimutan po yung due date kung hanggang kailan po natin siya dapat i-post. So later on po, we will discuss also the CSC roll-on publication. So malalaman po natin siya. So isa pa rin po naming hiling with regards to the letter request, maging diretso na po tayo kung ilan po yung posisyon na kailangan fill upan. So some letters po kasi as we experienced before, meron pong nakalagay sa taas na isa, meron po sa ilalim na 3. So if you really want to request for publication po or posting of 3 items, sana po malinaw na po siya sa taas pala nung item. Kasi meron naman po siyang mga attachments that we can check kung ilan po talaga po yung dapat na ibigay sa inyo. So ito po yung sample ng approved letter. So the request vacated faculty items po ay dahil there are 2 items po that there are 2 faculty employees resigned from their position. For reps vacant item naman po, just like the admin po, we have the position, the item number po, and the minimum qualification standard po and the due date po na nakalagay sa letter request ng department. Ito rin po yung galing sa UIS na approved request for recs filling up of vacated position. So for posting of vacancies po, we have other important policies and reminders. So request for CSC publication, ito po yung sinasabi ko. First request for CSC publication, start date in counting for the 9-month expiration of CSC publication. So ito pong CSC publication, si Ate Lani po yung nagpe-prepare nito and pinapadala niya po ito sa CSC. So from the start of the request po, nagbibilang na po tayo ng 9 months. So if the position is not filled up within the 9-month period, the unit will have to request for a CSC republication. So it means that republications, we have to restart of the process. 9 months po ulit ito. So ito po yung nagiging problema natin. We have 9 months po to fill up a position, pero as per experience din po in HRDO, nanghihingi po kami sa inyo ng panahon na sana po when we request for an item po, matutukan po natin siya. Kasi yung mga item po natin ay hindi po natin alam. Kailangan po natin ma-fill upan, kailangan po natin ng tao. Another reminder po is for the request of CFC publication, Section 29 of Ora-Ora. The publication of particular vacant positions shall be valid until filled, but not to extend 9 months po, reckon from the date the vacant position was published. Should no appointment be issued within the 9-month period, the agency has to pause the republication and reposting of the vacant position. Ito po yung kanina. Ito po yung reference nung nabanggit ko. So, Rule 10 po of CSC Ora-Ora, publication posting vacant positions. Ito po yung sinasabi na namin na at least 10 calendar days po, including Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. Minimum po yun nung binibigay nating panahon para ma-post po natin yung item in 3 conspicuous places. So ito po, because of the pandemic, before we have to photocopy 18 copies for the departments, the colleges, the executive offices po para maipakita po sa mga tao na gusto mag-apply. Ngayon po, we forward the approved posting po to OPR, and they are the ones to post it on our UPLB website, social media platforms po. We also include it in our HRDO Facebook po and website. So for the posting of vacancies, just 2 days before po, I was Attorney Peralta told me that we have
yung iba meron na.
We have to include this in our webinar po. So we have the COMELEC resolution number 10695, prohibited acts because of the election ban po for 2020. So for the dates po from January 9, 2022, that is Sunday, to June 8, 2022, Wednesday, no transfer or movement of officers and employees in the civil service. This is under Section 261H of the Omnibus Rules on Election. So, and on March 25, 2022 po, which is Friday, to May 8, 2022, appointment or hiring of new employees, creation or filling up of new positions, and promotion or giving salary increases, remuneration, or privilege po is prohibited po. So ito po, hinihiling po namin na if ever po meron po kayong vacant po ngayon na malapit na po siyang mapaso or in the process po of filling up, evaluation, paki-monitor po siya kasi baka po maapektuhan itong mga prohibited acts because of the election ban for 2022. Please be mindful po of the dates. Anyway, the presentation naman po will be provided to every one of the participants here po, for the 220 participants. So ito po yung sample ng posting of vacancies na nabanggit ko kanina through the assistance po of OPR, Ms. Christine Aragua. So in our website po, you can check career opportunities. This is in the lower part po of the page. So, drop down lang po natin, scroll down po natin, makikita po natin sa lower part yung careers. So, We have admin, faculty, and reps po. So, itik lang po natin yung box before the classification po ay masosort na po yung mga positions na vacant under admin, faculty, and reps. Para po easy access din po sa atin at para ma-identify po natin agad kung saan po tayo pwedeng mag-apply. So for the posting of vacancies po as part of our efforts to prevent the spread of COVID-19, effective August 1, 2020 po, we are no longer accepting hard copies for the applicants. So all applications are submitted online in PDF format, and only applications submitted in the official email address are considered. So ito po ay on or before the due date given by the department requesting for the posting of the vacant position. So for the application po, please indicate the position and item number you are applying for. Kasi this is in the case of administrative positions po, given na mababa po yung minimum qualification standard, and that we also understand na hindi po naman lahat techie. So may mga applications po that Atilani gave time to call the applicants po kung saan po sila nag-a-apply kasi wala po yung item and position number. Item number and position po dun sa application nila. And for the classification po and email addresses, for faculty po, we have the facultycareers.uplb at up.edu.ph. For the reps po, repscareers.uplb at up.edu.ph, and for the administrative po, it's not admin careers, it's ADM careers .uplb at up.edu.ph. So may mga nagkakamali rin po kasi doon. So kung meron po tayong mga kakilala na gusto mong mag-apply, so ito po yung ibigay po natin sa kanilang email addresses kung saan po nila gustong mag-apply. So for the transmittal of applicants po, HR transmits all public applications for all vacancies except contract of service through email or shared drive. So for the case of faculty po, I shared the G drive po for the department requesting for the vacant position, and while for the admin po and reps, they send the transmit applications through email. So initial assessment evaluation provided for applicants for applications to reps and admin positions po were tasked to HR employee po. So for the reps po, si Ma'am Dana po yung nag-i-initial assessment, and for the administrative positions, it's Adila. So ito rin po yung magandang pagkakataon na kami po yung hiningi sa inyo ng pasensya for the administrative positions po na nagre-require ng minimum qualification and standard, katulad po sa education na no experience and can read and write, umaabot po kami ng 100 plus applicants. So HRDO po, si Ate Lani po, request for your patience in waiting po for the transmittal of applicants for those positions po na mababa po at mas marami po yung nag-a-apply talaga. Hindi po namin just tonight po, ang dami po niyang email applications na umabot na po ng 1,000 kasi marami po tayong nakapost na positions po sa ating UPLB website for administrative. So for the unit APC, HR, and PSB evaluation po, ito po yung third part na overview ng hiring process. So we have the standard po para sundin. So for faculty po, we have the minimum MMQS for lateral entry higher than assistant professor 1. For the instructor naman po, we have to follow the OC memo number 105 series of 2013 guide in determining the rank of instructors, and the OC memo number 51 series of 2012 on honor graduates. So for the reps po, we have the OVICRE memorandum MCL number 21-006 2021 po. Ito po yung implementing rules and regulations on the standardized criteria on hiring UPLB reps. And for admin po, we have the OVCA Memorandum Number 2, Series of 2018, Administrative Selection Report Template po, and Memorandum MVG 0375, Implementing Guidelines for the University of the Philippines Merit Selection Plan for Administrative Personnel. So APC po ay for reps and faculty, while HRMPSB po ay for admin. So we have HRMPSB po for the admin, and we also have the union representative po for admins po. Yung union representative po ay ang union po yung nag-a-assign kung sino po yung union representative sa office na yon, while the HRMPSB naman po is through election process. Ito po yung APC ng faculty and reps. So ito po yung binoboto po ng ating mga kasamahan. There are cases po sa admin po as per Ms. Mel Tandang that wala pong HRMPSB yung department. So ang gumagalaw po whenever there's an evaluation to do, ang college HRMPSB po yung gumagawa. So reminders po sa ating mga APC members and HRMPSB with regards to evaluation. So we have 4 reminders po. Please be mindful po that for the application with equal opportunity principle po, and evaluate further the initial assessment of all applications documents provided by HRD. So yung pong initial assessment ng HRDO ay para po ma-check kung pasok po sila dun sa minimum qualification standard na sinet po ni CSC for a particular parenthetical position. So other documents, other certificates provided by the applicants, yung HRMPSB APC na po yung mag-evaluate. So for the background check po, meron din po tayong ganito for we also check some applications po or na mga tao po na nasa university na meron po palang hindi sinabi na totoo. So as part of the process of evaluating the applicants po, we have to check them po regarding kung ano man po yung sa personality po nila sa ano pa. Kasi kapag nakapasok na po sila sa atin sa university, katulad po ng sinabi ni Chancellor kanina, ay kailangan po makuha po natin yung bright and the best and the brightest. So yun po. So hindi lang naman po ito para sa kung ano yung natapos niya, pero kung ano po yung siya as a tao, as an employee po na magiging ng UP. So another din po na nalilimutan, yung send regret letter po to those who were not selected. So ito po, nakakatanggap po kasi kami ng email sa aming sa faculty careers, just sa akin po, nakakatanggap po ng email na nagpa-follow up po sila kung ano na po bang nangyari, kung may posibilidad po ba silang makuha dun sa posisyon kasi wala po silang natatanggap na letter or any communication from the hiring unit po kung ano na pong nangyari dun sa proseso. So we advise the APC po members to send regret letter po for unsuccessful applicants po para hindi din naman po sila nakabitin. Para po if ever hindi po sila natanggap, they can also apply for other positions po nang hindi po sila nag-aantay dun sa previous nilang pinaplayan. So for board deliberation po, we have the APFC, the RPFC, and the HRMPSB. For the faculty po, you should email your recommendation to me, VL Benson po ulit, at up.edu.ph. Our scheduled meeting po, existing po ay first and third Monday of the month. So ito po yung schedule natin. And an e-copy and hard copy should be submitted po. The e-copy po should be in one PDF file. Yun po ang amin po. Kasi for easy review and access po and evaluation of the documents po ng ating recommended position. So for reps po, first and third Tuesday of the month. And for admin po is second and fourth Thursday of the month. So for admin and reps po, e-copy, i-copy lang po yung nire-require, pero will be informed when to submit the hard copy. For the case of admin po, as per request, VC Bello is asking for the hard copy po for him to thoroughly evaluate the recommended uh, employee po ng department of the hiring unit. So, ito po hindi pa po kasama yung NBI and medical for the admin po. This is because we have to wait for the chancellor's approval kung sino po yung matatanggap dun sa position. So another po for the e-copy and hard copy po, please be reminded po that 5 days before the meeting, dapat po nasa amin na because we sometimes when we check the documents po, there are still lacking documents. So isa pa pong paalala, maging mahigpit po tayo when we require documents po. Dapat po tama, dapat po ay kompleto. So yun po, hinihingi po ulit namin sa inyo ang tulong sa mga colleges po to double check po recommendations from hiring units para po mas mabilis po nating magagawa yung ating mga trabaho. And again, checklist po is very important for us. So complete and correct requirements submitted 5 working days before the meeting will be included. So OC approval of endorsement po, the chancellor can select from among the shortlisted applicants who to appoint for a vacancy. This is under Rule 9, Section 86, the appointing officer or authority shall be guided by the report of the HR and PSB assessment of candidates and in exercise of the sound discretion select insofar as practicable from among the top 5 candidates or less deemed most qualified for appointment to the vacant position depending in the number of candidates. So Section 87, the appointing officer authority may appoint an applicant who is ranked higher than those next in rank to the vacant position based on the assessment of the qualification competence evidenced by the comparative rank. So ito po yung nagpapatunay, ito po yung basis namin or reference for the chancellor can select from among the shortlisted applicants who to appoint for a vacancy. Ito po yung reference natin po. So once approved, HR will inform the unit to submit the hard copy of the documents for processing. This is for reps and admin position. So ito po yung HRDO checklist. Again, kami po ay humingi sa inyo ng tulong na for the part of AO po, ay makichekan po yung wala for us to easily identify kung ano po yung lacking documents. At hindi lang po doon, to thoroughly check every single document that will be passed to our office po for recommendation for the board meetings po. Kasi po malaking tulong po na kapag dumaan po siya sa APFC, RPFC, HR, PSB at kumpleto po siya at tama, ay dire-diretso na po yung magiging proseso ng dokumento at mas mapapabilis po natin yung paggawa ng appointment para po dun sa taong nire-recommend po natin sa posisyon. So for administrative po, please take note that the results of the psychological test should also be submitted together with the basic paper. Hindi po siya ihiwalay, hindi po siya after. Magkakasabay po as per checklist kung ano po yung nasa dito sa listahan, yun po yung ipapasa natin ng magkakasama. So for faculty position po, wala naman pong iba, pero yun po for the diploma po and the TOR po, certified copy kapag po ang magsa-certify ay department chair kasi nagkakaroon po ng problema na mahirap kumuha ng TOR at ng diploma, lalo na po sa ibang bansa. So, we are accepting certified copy of the department chair or the director na nakita po nila yung original copy. Kasi po ay para po hindi na po ito sumama sa kanilang dokumento sa 2015. Ito po ay binibigay na po namin pa sa mga department chair and director to check po. sa TOR and diploma po kung talagang tama po at totoo yung ibinibigay po nila. For the admin po, hindi po iyon pwede at Lani is verifying from the school po yung TOR and diploma. So for the faculty po, we have non-regular faculty. We have the lecturers, the visiting faculty, adjunct faculty, and affiliate faculty. So ito po, all originals po are upon approval and yun po, kailangan din po silang dumaan sa APFC. So lecturers are compensated on an hourly basis. And please take note po that lecturers should be hired because they have special expertise and which is not available or is in short supply among the regular full-time and regular part-time faculty. So moreover, the university should recruit and retain only those lecturers with expertise, training, or experience comparable at least at the regular UP assistant professor position. So for visiting faculty po, these are designation given to a faculty member of another academic institution who is teaching in the university. So usually po ang ating mga visiting faculty ay from abroad. So foreigners po ito. For adjunct faculty po, given to a recognized expert in his or her field who is willing to devote part of his time to teaching or research in the university. And usually po ang ating mga adjunct faculty are from EV, from PCC. And affiliate faculty naman po is designation given to a teaching faculty staff of the UP unit who is staffed to teach a course in another UP unit and given teaching load credits in accordance with existing policies. For the last three non-regular faculty po, which is the visiting, adjunct, and affiliate, ito po ay walang bayad. So without additional compensation, and they are for a teaching because the department needs their expertise. So ito naman po yung requirements for non-regular faculty. So we have the adjunct, the lecturer, and the visiting professor. So ito po, kailangan po nating mag-attach ng CV. Ang pinakamahalaga po dito, and letter with confirm po to serve as adjunct or visiting po. And for the visiting po, we have when the one recommended for as visiting for adjunct is affiliated to any office po, kailangan may approval din po ng office na head of office para po malaman na siya po ay may additional na tinatrabaho. Ito pong documents required for lecturer, this is as per OC Memo number 1230 series of 2013 requirements for original appointment of lecturers. This is true po for lecturer beyond 65, pero yun po, wala na, meron po siyang medical. For the adjunct professor beyond 65 po, as per BOR's approval po, tinanggal na po natin yung medical certificate. Pero you have to attach o VPAA Form 3 po. Meron po kasi dito transitional plan na makikita po natin hanggang saan po dapat yung isang adjunct professor beyond 65 na magsiserve po siya sa university. So meron po siyang years na fill upan kung hanggang saan po yung magiging adjunct professor po siya sa university. So for the affiliate po, reminder lang po, number 6 po for the documents required for reps with teaching assignment, affiliate faculty, maglagay po tayo ng matrix as per OC Memo 9PS series of 2017. Ito po ay matrix kung saan makikita po natin kung ano po yung karapat-dapat na rank na ibigay sa kanila. So for assistant professor po, MS graduate, meron din po siyang mga publication, number of publication required para po malaman po natin yung tamang rank na ibibigay po natin for the affiliate, adjunct, and visiting professor. So ito po yung hinihingi din po natin para po ma-evaluate po natin mas mabilis yung mga recommended po natin. So for the reps naman po, we have the documents required for appointment po ng reps position. Again, yung pong box na naka-assign po sa atin and yung magsa-certify po, please po double check po yung ating mga correctness and completeness po ng documents na ipinapasa po natin sa HR. So individual contract of service po for ICS, we have reminders po. Units are advised to strictly follow the position titles, equivalent minimum qualification, and daily rates for the proposed position titles of their hires following the UP system and civil service equivalent position for contracts of service. So binigay na lang po namin yung link sa inyo kasi napakadami po ito. So clickable naman po siya. So makikita niyo po lahat doon yung position titles na dapat sundin pag mag-hire po tayo ng individual contract of service at saka yung equivalent position niya for contract of service. So again, all units are required to encode particulars of the contracts using Excel template. Ito po ay before po natin ipadala sa OVICRE yung contract. Hindi po habang napadala na or nagawa na po ni Ate Mel or na-evaluate na po ni Ate Mel yung contract. So ito po ay before po ipadala sa OVICRE. Dapat po na nagawa na po natin na mag-encode ng contracts doon sa Excel po na ipinadala ni Ate Mel last August 24, 2021 nung nag-webinar po siya ng ICS, all about ICS po. So instructions on each column heading are provided to serve as guide in filling out the template as per discussed nga po ni Ate Mel last August 24, 2021. So makikita naman po natin sa ICS data template na yung pong format, yung pong nire-require na information na kailangan po natin ilagay. Ito po ang ito pong ICS database ay you have to email this to iptandang@up.edu.ph po for Ate Mel is the one in charge of ICS. So we have sample contracts po of non-project and project-based ICS. So the difference lang po between the two contracts is that for the non-contract po, non-project contract po ay the contract should pass through the budget office po for clearance, unlike the project-based. This is because we have to take note of the CSE-DBM premium, the 20% premium po as per CSE-DBM Joint Circular Number 1 Series of 2018 po, na kung saan dun po sa sweldo nila, as you can check po sa number 5 ng ICS contract po, kailangan po nakapaloob na dun sa ibibigay natin sa kanilang daily or monthly rate yung pong 20% premium. Unlike po sa project na hindi na po siya dadaan ng budget, at the same time po ay depende po kasi dun sa pondo ng project yung additional 20% premium. Yun lang naman po yung pagkakaiba ng dalawang contract. Ito po ay pinadala na rin po ni Ate Mel, ni Ate Mabel for your reference po last August 24, 2021. In addition po pala, upon checking contracts po, please make sure po na signed yung first page ng contract sa side. Di ba, whenever we are signing contracts po, yung side po ng first page, hindi na po siya nalalagyan ng signature ng mga involved dun sa contract. So, wag po natin kalilimutan yung po first party, second party, at saka po yung mga yung kasama po dun sa contract na naka-sign po siya dun sa page, which is the first page po usually na pumirma. Kasi yung second page naman po, doon na po natin makikita yung talagang pirma ng mga involved dun sa contract. Kasi if for notarization po, hinahanap po yun ng attorney, yung pong pirma sa first page ng contract. So for ICS po, ito po yung ating required documents, personal data sheet, CTTE, original contract po, ito po yung copy ng contract, and PhilHealth po. For the CTTE, and PhilHealth, ito po ay nire-require lang for original lang po. And personal data sheet. For renewal po, hindi na po nire-require yung personal data sheet, CTT, and PhilHealth membership registration form. So for faculty and reps po, we have the green sheet. So ito po, and the blue sheet for administrative position. So dito po sa original appointment, please make sure po na ang na-tick po natin na box on the upper part of the form ay original. Wala pong additional assignment, wala pong renewal. For sometimes po, in our office po, pag po ihihiwalay po namin yung recommendation from other basic paper po, doble-doble po yung nakatik, hindi po namin alam kung saan po siya ilalagay. And dahil po meron po tayong 5 days before the APFC, RPFC, HRMP, SB meeting na dapat po maayos na po lahat for agenda, ay hindi po, may mga posibilidad po at pangyayari na hindi po siya nakakasama because of the wrong ticking po nung box dun sa taas ng form. So for original po, original lang po yung ating lalagyan ng check for the basic paper. For admin po, ganun din po. And ito po, basic paper common errors po, just like I said po, type of recommendation, original po. The name po, surname, first name, middle name. Again, na-discuss ko na rin po ito dun sa ECQ last August. For the degree, you have to indicate degree institution or the university po and the year graduated. For recommendees po na hindi pa naman po or still not graduated, hindi po natin siya ilalagay dun sa number 2. Dun po sa basic paper. O hindi na po natin siya kailangang ilagay dun sa degrees pag hindi pa po tayo tapos dun sa particular degree. Kunwari po, ongoing pa lang po yung MS natin, huwag na po natin siyang ilagay. So ang ilalagay lang po natin dito sa degrees ay yung natapos na po natin. Number 3 po, proper box ticks. To tick full-time po, permanent, or temporary, or substitute, or contractual. Number 6 po, complete basic paper. Number 6 po sa recommendation details. So ito pong recommendation details for the faculty and reps po. Number 6, proposed designation. Makikumpleto po lahat except for the PSI number for faculty. Kasi hindi po siya talaga pa-identify. Pero for the reps po, ay mailalagay na po natin dyan yung ano pong designation natin siya nire-recommend, salary grade, ng posisyon, unit code po ng office or ng college, plantilla item number po na provided naman po sa ating request authority to fill, makikita po doon yung salary po ng posisyon na naka-attach. At ito po ay full-time, yung FT, and depende po yung kind ng tenureship niya po, kung contractual siya, substitute, temporary, or permanent. So for the case po ng admin, sa number 4 po, makikumpleto din po yung details on proposed designation. So conditions of appointment po, we have 4. Pwede po siya maging permanent upon entry, temporary for faculty po, substitute, or contractual. Ang atin pong paboritong part of discussion every time we have a webinar, the personal data sheet. So, wag po kayong magsasawa kasi ito po ay magandang paraan para po ma-remind po tayo ng mga dapat nating tandaan whenever we are required to fill up personal data sheet na form. So again po, for the format, it is MMDDYYY. For January 1, 2021, it's 01/01/2021. So yun po ang laging nagkakaroon ng problema whenever we are checking the personal data sheet of the recommend. And again, any misrepresentation po yung form na gagamitin natin. Hindi, meron po kasing lumabas na misinterpretation and available pa din po siya sa website. So please po, before printing the form, please check any misrepresentation. Yung po yung unang red na sa taas po ng form. So for the name extension po, if wala po, please put NA po. For the zip code po, dahil ipit po siya, number 17, usually po hindi siya nakikita because napakaliit na po siya. Please be reminded po to indicate the zip code po ng residential address and the permanent address. For the date of birth, number 23 po, please follow the format again. MMDDYYYY. And dito po sa number 23, hindi po natin kailangan iligay yung date of birth ng ating spouse, father, and mother. So for the children lang po itong date of birth. For the educational background po, whenever graduated na po for the highest level unit earned, please indicate NA na po. Hindi po graduated, hindi po year, NA lang po. For the period of attendance po, wag po natin kakalimutan yung year attended. And signature and date sign po ng kung kailan po natin ginawa yung PTS. For every page po ito, signature and date. So for number 27 po, don't forget to indicate the rating and date of examination of or conferment. For number 28, yung po yung laging nagkakaproblema for the work experience, we have to start from your recent work. Doon po tayo sa pinaka-latest. Yung po yung ilalagay natin sa pinakaunang linya. And again, following the right date format. For the monthly salary, ito po monthly salary po, may naglalagay pa rin po ng day. So yun po, requirement po natin is monthly salary and the salary grade po and step, which is the format to follow is 00-0. So 12-1, for example, for Euro 1 position. For the government service po, ito po na-address na po namin ito. Nakalagay po kasi sa form is Y/. So as per the clarifications po ng CSC, ito po ay you have to indicate yes or no, not Y and N. So yun po. Remind lang din po namin ulit. So for the third and fourth page po, so again, for the third and fourth page po, inclusive dates po, please po, date format po, please follow date format. And for the learning and development number 30 po, date format, number of hours, and the type of LD. Ito po yung na-discuss namin before na if you are attending and you gain some knowledge, ito po ay foundation. Then we also have technical, managerial, and supervisory na type of learning and development. So for the conducted sponsored by, please write in full po, don't abbreviate offices like the OST. Dapat po ilagay natin is Department of Science and Technology. For UPLB, we have to indicate University of the Philippines, Los Baños. So please refrain from abbreviating po. And again, the third page po, you have to sign it and put date when you prepare the personal data sheet. For the last page po, please be critical on number 37 po. When you put in your work experience that you have been employed in other offices before, check po natin yung number 37. How have you ever been separated? So kung paano po kayo na-separate, nakalagay naman po dito yung different modes, resignation, retirement, drop from the role, dismissal, termination, etc. Please check yes po and give details. So wag po natin kakalimutan pag meron po tayong nilagay sa number 28, which is the work experience, other than UPLB, kailangan po may sagot po tayo sa number 37 kung paano po tayo doon na-separate. So for the references po, at least 3 reference, starting from their first name, middle initial, and surname. So unlike before po na surname, first name, middle initial, the required format po for na nag-exist po, na sinusunod po natin is first name, middle initial, and surname. So Picture taken for the ID photo po for the last 6 months. And ito po ay passport size po ito, hindi po 2 by 2 or 1 by 1 or even full body. May nag-a-attach po. And for the government issued ID, nire-request po namin na wag na po natin gamitin dito yung UPID kasi hindi po siya tinatanggap. So, for this particular webinar po, we are asking you to provide other IDs po, government issued IDs or passport. Wag lang po yung ating UPID. And then don't forget to sign the form and date sign accomplished PDS. So ito pong date accomplished PDS under your signature po is the same with the other date po na nilagay natin from pages 1 to 3. Then yung thumb mark po, the proper thumb mark po is like this. So nakataas po siya, hindi po siya nakagat. So this one po, ito po yung proper way of putting our thumb mark. And then, ang magpipirma po sa ating personal data sheet for the person administrating oath is the highest ranking HRMO. So ito po ngayon ay si Attorney Eric Polti Peralta. So work experience worksheet po, ito po ay kung ano po yung nakalagay natin sa number 28. Ito din po yung magre-reflect dito plus the duties po na ginawa niya for that particular position po. So ito po yung reference natin para po ma-check kung tama po ba siya or mag-fit po ba siya doon sa posisyon na ina-applyan niya. So this is true po for admin and reps. So ito po ay wala pong ganito sa faculty. Pero for those po na nagsasubmit, wini-welcome po namin ito. Ito po ay nakalagay po sa inyong 201 file. For the position description form po, so we will use the DBMCSC form number 1, revised version number 1, series of 2017. So for the number 9 and 10, as per last discussion po, for admin, for reps, admin, and faculty po, NA na po ito. And for our salary po ay per month. Per month na po ang ilalagay natin sa ating salary. Position, title, and item of those directly supervised po ha, directly supervised of the employee. Hindi po yung nagsusupervise sa kanya. Kung sino po yung supervise po, ako po yung recommended for the position, yun po yung ilalagay natin dito sa number 50. Also, we have to indicate a brief description of the general function of the unit or section. Ito po yung makikita natin kanina dun sa authority to fill. So ito na lang po yung ilagay natin. Kung ano po yung ilagay natin sa authority to fill, na function ng unit na kailangan fill upan, ito po yung ilalagay natin. Dito po natin siya ilalagay. And for the position po, duties po, and general function of the position. So nakalagay din po siya as a requirement, attachment po sa UIS. So for the core competencies po, NA po, if not. And ito po, ang nakapirma po dito is the employee and the supervisor. So others po include din, no problem. Pero for the form po, we only require employee and the supervisor. So BMO clearance, nandun na po tayo sa last 3 part of the overview of the hiring process. So for the BMO clearance po, if correct and complete, documents will be sent for BMO clearance after APFC, RPFC, and HRMPSB meeting po. Reps and admin, OC endorses are attached to the recommendation before it is forwarded to Budget Management Office. So ito po yung route ng appointment paper. So from the unit, department, APC, HRM, PSB, you will forward the recommendation to the college APC, HRM, PSB. Then if complete, if properly evaluated, it will be forwarded to APFC for faculty, RPFC for reps, and HRM, PSB for admin. After the meeting, if approved, without problems po, with complete documents, correct entries in the documents, it will be forwarded to Budget Management Office. Then, the Budget Management Office po will forward the recommendation with budget clearance to HRDO for the processing of appointment. Then after that po, with the appointment and the recommendation documents po, it will be forwarded for recommending approval of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, and Vice Chancellor for Administration. Then approval of the appointment po ay Office of the Chancellor. And then forwarded to HRDO again for the release of appointment and other documents. We have to forward it to the College Dean's Office or College Dean's Office and other offices in the university through a shared Google Drive. And for administrative positions po, we have to forward the approved appointment to CSC for validation. So dito po, binibigyan lang po ni Ate Lani ang tao ng kopya ng approved appointment. Photocopy lang po ito dahil yung pong original appointment is for validation, still for validation of the Civil Service Commission. So, the route of appointment papers may vary according to the appointment and other human resource action guidelines. So, ito po ay yung kung kumpleto po o hindi, nag-iiba-iba po yung ruta ng dokumento. Doon lang naman po siya mag-iiba if documents are not complete and not correct in entries po. So, reminders po, for appointment, the deadline to process documents, important forms for the release of salary, and original appointment / re-employment. This is one nature of appointment po din, si re-employment, should not be asked to report without an approved appointment. So check the UPLB website for the forms for the release of salary. Ito po yung na-discuss ni Gerard last May 2021. So for appointment po, excerpts from OC Memorandum Number 23, Series of 2020, the processing of recommendations for appointment and prudences in verification of employees included in the monthly list of payroll. Please be mindful po in relation to Rule 4, Section 1, 4, and 5 of the Omnibus Rules on Appointment and Other Personal Actions. All necessary documents should be submitted to HRDO for appointment preparation. If complete, an appointment date can be identified in coordination with the unit. The effectivity date should at least 3 days after the documents are submitted to HRDO because the appointment should not be retroactive since it is still subject to the approval of the Chancellor. So, yung Section 4, yung Rule 4, Section 4 po states that no official or employee shall be required to assume duty without being furnished with a copy of his appointment after it is issued by the appointing authority. So ito po yung CSC form number 32, revised 2018. Please check the form po, yung upper part portion po. Lagi po natin tandaan kung kailan po siya na-revise. So for this particular form, which is the oath of office, kailangan po revised 2018. So the dates that will appear to the oath of office po should be uniform. So if your effectivity is July 18, 2021, all the dates in the form should be July 18, 2021. Don't also forget to indicate government ID number, and date issued. So may mga may mga pagkakataon po kasi na nasasubmit po siya sa office namin kay Sir Gerard without those information. So those are necessary informations po para mai-process po namin ng tama ang inyong mga sweldo for original appointment. And another form po that is very important is CSC form number 4, revised 20. So again, pa-check po doon sa taas, upper right portion ng form kung tama po yung form na ating pinipill-upan. As an employee po, huwag po natin itong iasa sa mga ating AOA. whenever we are filling up any kind of form po, maging sa sarili po natin ay maging mapanuri na po tayo. So wag po natin iasa sa mga titingin pa, or malaking tulong po yung additional eyes for checking. Pero for us po sa ating sarili, maging mapanuri na po tayo if ever na nasusunod po ba natin ng tama, or na-fill upan po ba natin ng maayos yung isang form. So for the certification of assumption to duty, ito po ay sa director or head of office po ng unit. Siya po ang pipirma nito. Again, if your effectivity day is July 18, 2021, for all the dates required in this form, kailangan po pare-parehas po silang July 18, 2021. So attested by the highest HRMO, which is Attorney Eric Pondi Peralta. So another reminder po, okay, so for the additional reminders po, checklist po, an updated checklist po, we use the updated checklist sent po through email for the original salary. So additional information for regular teaching staff po, for original, ito po yung nabanggit ko kanina, yung as per OC Memo number 51 series of 2012, faculty position of honor graduate. So for instructor positions po, we have instructor 1 for BS graduate, instructor 2 for BS 5-year course graduate, instructor 3 for cum laude, instructor 4 for cum laude plus 5-year course or magna cum laude, instructor 5 po for magna cum laude plus BS 5 years or summa cum laude for BS 4-year course, instructor 6 po for summa cum laude plus 5-year course po. So please be guided by this OC memo po para po mas mabilis po natin malaman kung ano po yung recommendation na ibibigay natin for faculty position po na wala pa pong MS degree. So an additional reminders for recommendation for faculty appointment may be extended based on President Danilo L. Concepcion, Memo 17-20, yung tenure track po. So for assistant professor with temporary position po, they can be recommended for 3 years max. Associate professor po for 2 years po, diretso na po ito. Max, and for professor po is 1 year po. So again, baka po nalilimutan natin for additional reminders din po for the PDLC 1720 tenure track po na rule. Meron po tayong contract na dapat papirmahan. The Dean's Office, meron pong form letter to tenure track faculty members who are not yet in the last year of the stipulated period for obtaining tenure. Kailangan po meron tayong contract na papipirmahan dun sa recommendee following the tenure track rule. Ito po ay Dean's Office po yung magpapapirma sa tao for the positions assistant professor to professor, and then pwede po natin isisi si RM po para po meron siya sa 201 file niya. Baka po kasi nalilimutan. So this is also a good time for us po to remind everyone nung mga forms po na kailangan natin sinusunod at pinoprovide po. So in behalf of HRDO po, RSA team, thank you so much for listening to our webinar, and please expect po na mas marami pa pong mga ganitong mga webinars na may i-offer ang HRDO for us to be more connected po sa university in giving the best service ever to the people po, to our respondents. So magandang umaga po ulit at maraming salamat po. Happy weekend po.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Benus, for that comprehensive presentation. We now move on to the second part of our webinar, the question and answer portion. Again, you may pose your question via Google form. Link is provided on the chat box. Q&A will only last for 30 minutes. Here to assist Ms. Benus is the personnel in charge of ICS contracts, Ms. Mel Tandang.
Good morning, Ate Mel.
Good morning po. Nasaan ang aking camera? Good morning po sa lahat. So, start po tayo sa question and answer. So, unang question po. Are the union representative no longer observes during the selection process? Are they allowed to ask and rate the applicants during interview?
So for that particular question po, I asked the one in charge in admin position po. There is a union representative po for each unit. So being part of the evaluation team as union rep, ito pong union rep na to is from the union po. So union po yung nag-a-assign ng union rep per unit po, per department. So as per the question po, they are part of the process because meron pong nakatalaga sa kanila na union representative. Ang tanong, maybe the question is that ito po ba yung pinakamataas sa union or union rep sa office? So baka po pwedeng itanong sa nagbigay ng katanungan kung sino po kayang union representative yung sinasabi niya dito. Kasi there is a union rep po talaga in every office or unit na inassign po ni all UP workers union.
So, yun po. Part talaga po sila. Kasama po sila sa pagre-rate. So, second question. What if you have an applicant for faculty who is so... What if you have an applicant for faculty who is so adept into his field due to research and actual field work but has no PhD but with MS? And another applicant who has PhD but not very good in speaking, who should the unit pick?
I think to answer that question po, I think the unit APC is the one to evaluate based on the qualifications that is given to the particular position to be filled up po. We have the education, we have the training, we have the experience required for the position. So when they follow that requirements po, they can, they are the ones po to answer which of the two fits for the position.
Okay. So third question po, request for hiring or filling up of plantilla position is through UIS. So nabanggit po ata ni Ma'am Venus kanina.
Yes po, that is true for reps and admin positions po. UIS. You have to use the UIS po for the authority to fill reps and administrative positions.
Okay.
Miss Venus?
Yes po, ma'am.
I think Ma'am Janet Silva raised her hand. Ma'am Silva?
Maraming salamat po sa pag-recognize. Regarding union representation, okay po kami doon sa idea no, na may union representative talaga sa HRMPSP. Maganda po yun na pangbalanse. Ang question lang po would be, kung merong union members doon sa unit, kasi nalilito kami in terms of yung pinapadala na union representative sa HRMPSB ng unit, naglalagay sila ng members na hindi nagbebelong doon sa unit pero maraming pwede sana doon sa unit. They are sending representatives from another office. Tatanong ko lang po kung ano ba yung protocol in terms of choosing the representative. Thank you.
Thank you po, Vice Silva. Maybe we can talk to Sir Salcedo regarding the qualification on whom to put as union rep in the HRMPSB or APC po ng union rep sa ating mga unit. Because as per checking po, they just give us the names of the union rep. We are not, wala po kaming idea on how they select on the union representative of that particular office. So we can check po in behalf of Vice Silva to Sir Salcedo on the qualification of the union rep po for a particular office.
Thank you po, Ma'am Venus. Ang mas
Yes.
consideration ko lang po would be kung yun ba ay solely prerogative nila, and then syempre may sarili naman sila talagang sistema, and we respect that kind of system. Ang nagiging issue lang po namin ay iba yung expectation minsan ng mga members mismo ng union na nandoon sa opisina, and then doon sa ipapadala. And ang nagiging bagahe would be yung proseso kasi mas familiar doon sa trabaho na ginagawa yung mismong nandoon sa office. So we would really appreciate na mas ma-expedite yung processes. Pero salamat po sa paglilinaw. Thank you.
Well taken care of po yung concern ni Vice. So we will check with Sir Salcedo po about this, about your concern. So dalawa po yung concern ni Ma'am is kung prerogative po ba ng union yung ilalagay nila, and at the same time yung with regards to the expectation po ay iba po yung hinihingi ng union rep doon sa office. So tama po ba?
Ate Venus, magdadagdag lang ako. Ano?
Sige po Kuya Rick, thank you po.
Ideally, Ma'am Janet, sa totoo lang, talagang kailangan may union representative base doon sa directive din ng UP system. Ang ideal setup talaga is talaga manggaling dapat doon sa opisina ang mga union representative. Kung merong representative talaga ng union, ibig sabihin talaga miyembro ng union. Yun yung isa sa mga instances na pagka walang bona fide member. So ibig sabihin walang kasapi talaga sa union yung office. Ayan, talagang hingi ka ng tulong para magbigay ng ang union o sino pwedeng i-assign. Pangalawa, may chance rin po kasi na yung mga union members na kasama po doon sa ayaw ko minsan, mga tao, ay beg off po muna ako sa pagiging HRMPSB. O kaya siya mismo yung kasama po doon sa mga aplikante. So, kailangan hong mapunan yan, depende doon sa level ng. Pero maganda pong feedback yan, Ma'am Janet. So, I think ang team nila, Ma'am Venus, will take note of those concerns and we will coordinate with the union regarding that para linawin. Then para mas maganda po yung communication ng bawat opisina. Alam po namin yung concern na talagang dapat nakakaalam din yung per ora-ora rule po ng civil service, talaga ang mga union representatives, especially dun sa mga levels, is may mahalagang ang tawag dito, trabaho, which is sa screening ng mga aplikante. Ayun. So, hopefully nakadagdag ng konti, Ma'am Janet. Thank you.
Yes po. Salamat, sir. Sir, for the record lang po, ay sinusuportahan ko po ang pagkakaroon ng union representative. Gusto ko po talaga yung part na iyon na mayroong union representative to balance. Ang mas konsiderasyon ko lamang po talaga ay yung may available na bona fide member doon sa unit, pero iba ang ipapadala na medyo hindi familiar doon sa nature ng trabaho na kailangan, hiring po yung kalakhan doon sa pinag-uusapan. Maraming salamat po.
For the follow-up question on Vice Silva, Ate Mel, I think you can answer this question. Kailan po nagsimulang ma-implement yung sa union representative on kailan po nagkaroon ng union representative?
Actually, yung na-process namin ngayong last year ko lang na merong union. Pero I will ask Lani kung kailan talaga nag-start yung pagpasok ng mga union rep sa sa member ng HRMPSB kasi ang natatandaan ko dati walang yung sa lang talaga, may offices lang.
Idadagdagan ko ng konti yung sinasabi ni Ate Mel, ano?
Apa.
So doon sa tanong na kailan nagsimula yan, kung mapapansin niyo po, nagkaroon ng panibagong omnibus rules on appointment and other HR personnel actions. So yan po ay karaniwan, nagsimula po yan ng 2017 and may amendment ng 2018. And those amendments na kailangan may mga kailangan, nanggaling po yan sa UP system. So lahat ng stakeholders diyan para ma-represent na kailangan kinikilala rin po kasi na civil service ang ating mga union as mahalagang parte po ng pagpili, paghirang ng based on merit and fitness ng ating mga tauhan. So yun po yung halos pinagsimulan po ng mga recent lang naman po yan, pero based po yan doon sa panibagong omnibus rules ng ating gobyerno, especially na Civil Service Commission on Human Resource Personnel Actions.
Okay na po. So for the next question po, in the selection process of administrative positions, what positions or salary grades are being handled by the unit office HRMPSB and starting with office HRMPSB and starting what salary grade shall be assumed by an ad hoc search committee? Thank you. Binos?
For the administrative positions po, no salary grade. Lahat po ng mag-a-apply for the position po of admin position, yun po ay, am I right? I evaluate po nila regardless of salary grade and step. So for the ad hoc committee, I think ito po yung matataas na posisyon in non-office na hinihingan po ng ibang mga tao to look up to kung tama po na ma-fill upan yung posisyon sa isang napakataas na posisyon.
Dadagdagan ko rin ng kaunti yung sinabi ni Ma'am Venus. So may dalawa yung totoo yung sinabi ni Ma'am Venus na ang HRMPSB po should really handle all the vacant positions in an office. Pero pagka dumating po yung mga times na ang nabakante, most of them supervisory in nature, which is hanggang po yan, ang salary grade po niyan karaniwan is up to grade 24. So yung po kasi susunod dyan, yung grade 25 pataas, ang tawag po ng CSC dyan is more on the managerial side na po. So yan po yung medyo matataas na level. So karaniwan po, especially kung hindi sa tingin nila na para maiwasan din yung mga biases at saka yung capability, mahirapan din po kasi medyo matataas po ang kailangan dyan. Kung titingnan nyo po, may leadership competencies po yung mga matataas na positions na yan. So most of the time, they request sa chancellor to create some ad hoc committee. So most of the time, ang mga nasa ad hoc committee po niyan is mga supervisors din, mga matataas din. So mga they know the position, they know yung pong mga trabaho, actual responsibilities and duties. And most of the time yung po kasi nagpapabilis nagpapabilis po ng hiring process. Kumbaga yung not to discount po yung HRMPSB yung composition nun. Pero at least ito po yung isa sa mga leeway para matulungan po yung unit to really gauge kung sino po yung pwede pong mai-appoint doon sa opisina. So yun po.
So yun po, nasabi na po ni Kuya Rick at ni Ate Dino. So next question po, affected po ba sa election ban ang renewal po ng temporary admins.
So for the election ban po, maliwanag naman po doon na ang affected po ay original, promotion, additional remuneration po. So as per checking po, hindi po kasama yung renewal po of temporary appointments for the election ban.
Okay po. Next question. Meron po bang advantage or points ang applicants na currently employed o ICS in the same unit or office where vacancy of the position resides? What if mas qualified or mas merong potential yung galing sa labas or from different UP or government office unit or from the private sector?
So, doon po sa question na ni-raise ni Ate Mel for meron po bang advantage yung ICS. So, we have this memorandum number NGY 17-141 dated December 14, 2017. Ito po ay isang clarification on filling up of vacant items. So, according to Vice President for Administration Nestor Yunque, pursuant to item 11.2 section 11 of the transitory provisions of the joint circular number 1 series of 2017 issued by the Civil Service Commission, Commission on Audit and Department of Budget and Management dated June 15, 2017, priority shall be given to existing contract of service or job order workers in the appointment to vacant positions, provided that these workers meet the qualification standards and appropriate eligibility for the position in accordance with the Civil Service Law and rules. This is intended to help the agency and the contractualization by hiring JO and COS workers as regular personnel. So it is also along with the spirit that in filling up of items, units are encouraged to give priority to their personnel within before considering other UP personnel outside their unit. Ang given po is section, department, division, institution, college, CUs, and system in that order, as well as applicants outside the university. So this is also a reminder that in further the filling up of items, yun po, ang isinabi po dito ni, as per, pwede po namin isama itong memorandum number NGY 17-141 for your reference po dun sa question na ni-raise kanina ni Ate.
Dadagdagan ko din ng konti, ano? Lagi akong si dagdag
Okay,
po.
kuya.
Okay. So, para doon po sa tanong tungkol doon sa mga ICS, tama po yun. Yung sinite po, based po yan doon sa para to end the contractualization. Ano po ba ang advantage ng Tagaloob? Siyempre, una po, ang Tagaloob talaga, alam na po yung mga sistema nyo. Pero hindi po yun magsasabi na yun ay guarantee na para siya ang ma-hire. Isa po sa mga napapansin namin nagiging problema is kahit ang dami na pong red flag ng contractual. Sa totoo lang po, pagka may mga red flag na po yung mga contractuals nyo, pagka hindi na po nakaya ng mga development interventions na ginagawa nyo, there are grounds po para hindi nyo na po siya i-hire. Kasi ang nature po ng kanyang employment is really temporary. Ano? So may period. Kung talaga naman pong magaling talaga yung ICS nyo, talagang dapat sa principle po ng employee retention, gawa natin ang paraan. Ano? Pero kung sa tingin nyo po, ang daming red flag, kahit alam niya yung mga ang dami nyo pong red flag, alalahanin nyo po, ipepermanente nyo yan. So kung hindi po yan nakukuha, before, sa ngayon, contractual pa lang ICSJO, meron ng mga red flags po na nakikita nyo, I think it should be on based pa rin po, based doon sa merit and fitness nung dapat lang po tanggalin natin ng konti yung mga biases natin. At the first end po lagi ng ating mga pagtatanong, selection, screening, kaya napakahalaga dyan, ano po ba yung mga pwede pong red flags? Titingnan nyo pong mabuti. Kaya nga po yung screening at saka yung selection process ng HRMPSB, dapat po maganda. Sana iwasan na rin po natin yung nakakaawa kasi pagka hindi mo ni-renew, kakaawa eh. At the first place po, ang lagi po namin sinasabi dyan, talaga po naawa kami, mahirap po ngayon ng trabaho. Pero kung hindi po inaalagaan ng mismong tao, hindi po niya minamahal ang kanyang trabaho. Kung nagawa na po natin lahat ng development interventions, talaga pong grounds na po na wag niyo po siyang i-renew. Pero mahirap po kasi pagka binigyan niyo po yan ng pagkakataon na kawawa naman eh. Di ba? At the end of the day, ang opisina rin po magsasuffer. Kasi una ho, para hong naging pinaano pa ho natin yung isang taon na marami na pong red flag. Pangalawa, baka yung pwede nyong makuha, yun po talaga makatulong sa opisina nyo. So napakahalaga po ng ating mga personnel boards na talagang pagganahin po based on merit and fitness ang selection. Ano po? So reminder lang po namin yan sa HRDO. Kasi ayaw po namin dumating, pagdating mo sa performance management, may mga disputes na. Lumalabas na po kasi yung mga mga ugali ng mga tao, especially pagka mga nape-permanent na yung kanilang ethics sa trabaho. So, at the first place, ang board po, sa tulong nyo po, paalalahanan, napakahalaga po ng trabaho, screening and selection. Ano po? Thank you.
Ate Mel, nakamute ka.
Sorry. Sorry po. So, paano daw po malalaman kung ano-ano ang mga core competencies and leadership competencies na dapat ilagay sa PDF?
Kuya Rick.
Ako na rin ba ang sasagot? Kala ko pandagdag lang ako. Kala ko pandagdag ako. Okay. So, to give you some yung meron na po tayong meron na pong namapa yung team po nila Tita Irene na mga competencies po for mga administrative employees. So, yung iba pong pwede po kayong magtanong sa team nila Mabel, nila Adi, regarding doon sa competencies. Meron po yung core competencies. Pagka medyo mataas-taas po yung position, mga supervisory na po, leadership competencies. Meron din pong organizational competencies. Ito yung sinasabi nyo kung minsan, marunong ba itong mag-computer? Marunong ba itong gumamit ng photocopier? And lastly, meron din pong tinatawag na technical competencies. Ano pong ibig sabihin nito? Ito po yung talagang kung halimbawa tied up po talaga dun sa position. Halimbawa, accountant. Ay talaga yung accountant na mga responsibilities and accountabilities, yun po talaga yung ginagawa niya based dun sa So ito po, hindi yung technical competencies, hindi po ito basta-basta nakikita sa ibang mga positions. So doon po sa PDF na hinihingi, karaniwan po core competencies. So pwede pong itanong po yan sa aming opisina and siguro sila Ma'am Mabel, yung team nila, sila po yung mga project lead po natin dyan doon sa competency mapping. So kung may mga tanong po kayo, pwede nyo pong i-email ang aming opisina for those particular generalized na mga administrative Ang wala pa lang po kami and we're in the process po of mapping yung competencies are yung highly technical. Ano po, tulad ng mga doktor, nurses, mga lawyers, ayan, yung mga tipong engineers, ayan. So we're trying to come up po and siguro po nasa pipeline pa po 'yon kasi tinitingnan din po namin 'yung sa ibang mga ahensya and sa tulong din po ng mga technical experts natin dito regarding do sa competencies. So hopefully nasagot ko po Thank you po.
So for the last question po, pasensya na po sa mga hindi po nabanggit na mga tanong, i-email na lang po ng personal yung mga may question po. So for the last question po, is a probationary period for newly appointed employee observed?
Yes po. Probationary period po is advised. Kung makikita po natin yung appointment natin, especially po sa administrative, meron po dun sa part ng appointment natin na probationary period po is advised para po, actually kahit po sa mga faculty po, kasi isa pong paraan para ma-check po ito is yung set. So, ginagamit po ito para po ma-evaluate po natin ng tama yung tao kung for the 6-month period po given ay maibibigay niya yung tamang serbisyo na hindi ng posisyon na ibinigay sa kanya at the same time po kung tama niya pong maibibigay yung hinihingi ng posisyon po mula sa kanya. So yes po, yun po ay ina-advise po natin.
Opo. Si Kuya Rick ulit, dagdag So para sa kaalaman lang lahat, tama po si Ma'am Venus, it applies to all. Hindi po ibig sabihin na kayo ay permanente na hindi kayo matatanggal within the 6-month period. Especially doon sa mga permanent. Ito po ay lagi namin sinasabi doon sa mga employment benefits ng mga seminars. Tuwan-tuwaan lahat, ganun, makakatanggap ng ganito, sweldo at lahat ng benepisyo. Pero alalahanin po na kayo po ay under probationary period pa rin po. Pagka hindi po kayo pakisabi po doon sa ating mga na-hire, may karapatan po ang universidad na i-terminate po yung pagka nakita ko after 3 months, kung di ako nagkakamali, sa assessment ng opisina, parang hindi ka tama doon sa aming pinili. So within the 6-month period, pero dapat po maayos. Tama po yung mga gagawin. Kaya ho ina-assess po ng mabuti yan. Just to make sure na yung po mga napili natin talagang at par at saka standard sa kailangan ng opisina. Yun po kasi yung goal natin.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Venus, Miss Mel, and Sir Rick.
Miss
For the
Anna,
quest, yes,
Sorry?
yes po, Miss Mabel.
Sir Gerard, I'd like to add something to the presentation. Gerard?
Yes, thanks, Mabel. Explain now. Hi, Mabel. Here's the
Habang inaantay po natin si Sir Gerard, additional reminders po. So bago po mag-post test, kailangan po for the faculty po, please always update your educational attainment po for our reference po sa inyong personal data sheet. And again, please check updated checklist po of forms para po tama po yung maipadala nating mga dokumento na nire-require, not just for salary po, but also for the recommendation for original appointments.
May dagdag ako, Ate Venus, before matapos yung habang iniintay natin si Gerald. Dahil po kayo lahat ang mga nandito, most likely kayo rin po yung magagawa ng sa hazard pay, di ba? So baka may lumabas na memo, pauna lang po ito. So hihingin namin yung tulong nyo, yung due diligence at saka completed staff work nyo sa pagsasubmit po ng ating mga kailangan dokumento. So baka may lalabas na memo for the payment of hazard pay. So medyo konting trabaho po para sa atin lahat uli. So sideways lang po na konti habang iniintay natin si Gerald. So just to give you some anong tawag dito, pauna sana para ho maging maayos po yung mga documentary requirements na isasubmit niyo po sa amin. So please observe din po kung paano niyo po ino-observe yung dito po sa atin sa hiring process. Ganun din po sana sa pagsasubmit ng mga dokumento for employment benefits and privileges. Maraming salamat po. Konting paunang announcement. Kuya Gerald, ikaw na.
Okay po. Thank you, Kuya Eric. Naririnig po ako? Okay po. So sobrang quick lang nito. So reminders lang. So if you can still remember yung webinar ko about yung guide to accomplishing documents required for the release of the higher salary. So 3 pointers lang. So first, make sure po na updated yung checklist na masasubmit niyo po sa HR. So we already emailed this sa lahat ng participants. So if you don't have the copy of the updated checklist, you can send us or you can message us here. Then we can send you the updated checklist. So included doon yung lahat ng forms pati yung presentation on the last webinar. So in relation to the submission of the updated checklist, doon natin malalaman kung ilan yung number of documents na kailangan isubmit. Kasi mayroon pa rin mga other offices or units na nagsasubmit sa amin ng minsan kulang, minsan labis. So with this checklist, you can see, run through lang. Halimbawa, kung out of office tsaka assumption to duty, dapat 3 copies. Pag SALN, 3 copies na back-to-back. Tapos kung walang PIN, 1902. Kung meron na 1905, that's 2 original copies. Tapos with attachment. And then, pag-ibig or yung MDF, isang kopya lang. PMRF, isang kopya lang din po. Tapos GSIS, isang kopya. So make sure lang po na you follow the number of documents required lang. So wala naman kasing bonus pag labis yung inyong sinubmit sa amin. So kasi sayang din yung papel na sinasubmit po sa amin. And then last, so make sure po na yung sinasubmit yung forms ay tama. Kasi doon sa in-email po namin, meron po doon na blank forms at pre-filled out forms. So yung pre-filled out forms, ito po yung ginawa namin para at least guide lang kayo kung alin yung i-fill out nyo sa form. So bigay lang ako ng example. So ito po, halimbawa yung 1905. So this is the blank form. So dapat ito yung i-filled out nyo. Yung kasi yung iba nagsasubmit nito, yung may highlight. So ito yung sample ng document na nasa folder. Sorry. Sorry po ulit. So ito po yung sample ng blank document. So halimbawa yung 1905, when you fill up, so ito po yung gagamitin. Huwag niyo pong gagamitin yung yung pre-filled out form tulad nito, yung may highlight na yellow. So we just made this forms na may highlight para alam niyo po kung alin na-fill out. Kasi yung iba nagsasubmit, may highlight. Yung mga documents na to, for example, the 1905, the MDF, the PMRF, we submit it po sa sa kung pag-ibig, kung PhilHealth, or sa BIR. So yeah, may highlight. So just to make sure lang na tama yung sinasubmit natin, just fill out po yung mga blank forms. So ayun lang po. So I think this good venue po for since we are talking about original appointment. So maraming salamat. Sana po masunod po yung mga reminders po. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Gerald. For the questions which were not answered due to time constraint, we will send our response via email. At the beginning of this webinar, we had a pre-test and we were able to receive 179 responses. Now it's time to prove that we gained something from attending this webinar. Again, you will be given 7 minutes to take the post test. After submitting your answers, you will be able to view your scores. Please do not forget to click submit once you're done.